What's going on, gamers? We got a really good video here by Laura Fryer, who is one of the founding members of Xbox. Now, this video is going to get probably a little bit spicy too, but it's doing very well. It's 34,000 views already, 4,100 likes. And the reason why I say this is because she basically calls out Phil Spencer's vision back in 2018, which is interesting. I never saw this speech by Phil Spencer. As you guys know, I do like Phil Spencer. I know a lot of people like to blame him for a lot of things, but like I said before, we can go all the way back to Don Matrick and see it takes a lot more than that when it comes to, messing up a brand and the industry. We know lately Microsoft has done that, obviously, to the Xbox brand, but prior to that, there was definitely some mistakes, obviously, going on way back. Like I said, to the end of the 360 era, going into the Xbox One. But this video is also about the main core of when it was actually fun to turn on your 360 back in the days. You had fun, right? That was the mission. Like she said, when fun was the mission at Xbox. Now, when you think about it, it's like you don't feel that feeling. And that's, to me, what video games are about. Not worrying about what character is going to do this, what narrative is this. And this is what she talks about in this video and what the industry is focusing on, rather than realizing, and this is why Nintendo has always done such a good job, and Sony does too at certain extents, is that fun needs to be the priority. If fun is not the priority, you're missing the point of why somebody picks up a controller and turns on a gaming platform. I don't care what it looks like. If people are having fun, that's what they care about. And if they're not having fun, they're putting it down because their dopamine receptors do not feel like it's being lit up. Like, man, I'm having such a blast, man. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, this is fun. It's like, that's the core. It needs to say that. So in this video, this is talked about, and then we're going to take a look at Phil Spencer's speech. So stick around because it's going to take a bit to get to that. But yeah, I mean, y'all, this is a good one. I like her. She actually has integrity and intelligence, and she's honest. And I'm pretty sure they all seen it because this is a big video. I mean, it's already getting that type of traction. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let's get into it.
Of the greatest hunters in the land. This is Hunter's Gathering.
Guerrilla just revealed their new Horizon co-op game, Hunter's Gathering, and one character design sent the internet into a meltdown. People were immediately calling it Concord 4.0. Some were joking, some were dead serious. Maybe it was the art style that set people off. Maybe it was that none of the other characters were aspirational. Or maybe, and this is the part that matters, it felt like the game was pushing a message that some gamers just don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm not here to litigate this game's choices. I'm not here to decide who's right or wrong about the art style or characters. I'm here to ask a harder question. When messaging starts to feel like the main priority, what happens to fun? What happens to the game itself? Hi, I'm Laura Fryer, and I've shipped games, watched studios rise and fall, and I've seen how the language we use inside companies quietly changes what ends up on screen. Years ago, I used to come home from Xbox talking about my day. I would be full of company jargon, and my husband would just look at me and say, "What the heck does that even mean?" I'd laugh and then I'd explain it, but it made me realize how easy it is to get trapped in your own bubble, your own dialect. And once you're swimming in it, that language starts shaping how you see everything.
100%, because imagine the bubble of Microsoft thinking about TV gaming with the Xbox One era. And you get trapped into that, and you're projecting it out, you're on a presentation stage, you're sending that message, and the gamers are sitting here like, cartoon, blink, blink. Some people were angry, some people shifted over to PlayStation, and then they wanted to charge $100 more, they tried to put the Kinect there. It's like, see, that bubble right there is out of touch with reality. Did you just see what you just did in the 360 era? Why are you delivering that, what'd she just say? The core thing, message. That's not fun. That's not what we're here for. I can watch TV somewhere else. It's like, oh my Lord.
Fast forward, and I joined a company where I was criticized for being too Microsoft. They didn't want to become PowerPoint kings. They felt like that tool forced the communication in a direction that stifled thought and discussion. So I changed. I moved to just talking about the issues, and when we needed it, we'd whiteboard out areas and discuss that way. And that shift taught me something important. The way we talk and the tools we use to talk, they don't just describe reality, they quietly steer what we notice, what we prioritize, and ultimately what we build. Games and entertainment have always woven in messages. Look at BioShock. It's a takedown of unchecked capitalism. Or the Terminator movies. Stories about fate, technology being out of control. These are heavy themes wrapped in a relentless action movie.
But it was fun
Even if you didn't agree with the
and
politics
entertaining.
or the philosophy or the warning, you still showed up. The games and movies entertained you. They pulled you in, they made you think. And because they did those things first, you actually heard the message.
So I want you guys to think about what she just said and why this is important so I can explain this more too in a deeper context. You could have been watching all those movies back then, Jurassic Park. Just think about even complex movies, but you say, man, I'll be back. People have these little memes about it. It's entertaining. People love it when it shows up, even if they didn't understand the story. Because you can ask a lot of people, write me a review. They wouldn't even be able to do it, but they love the series. That's what she's talking about. Like, it still pulled you in. It was still entertaining. You still liked it, though you couldn't have probably told somebody a deep, complex 30-minute nerd video on YouTube that probably got a lot of views about every detail about the series like that. You probably wouldn't have been able to do it, but you could have been a huge Terminator fan. You enjoyed the message. You enjoyed the entertainment. It still had that to it. And that's what she's trying to say. Whereas, like, if you're trying to, like, make a game too political, push too much stuff onto the player, and they're not getting that entertainment, they're not getting that fun, and they're not feeling that, then they're not going to want to stay around. And that's the problem with the industry. It forgot the priority of what I just talked about, why everybody liked something, and they probably don't even know the full complexity of the story, or they probably figured it out over time because they loved it so much that they couldn't stop watching it and it just sank in. That's what I'm saying. Think about that, guys, because that's a thing that I think anybody can relate to.
That's the balance that used to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
But things have shifted. And the reaction to Guerrilla's new game? It illustrated it perfectly. They showed a mixed set of characters, including a very heavy-set playable character in a post-apocalyptic world built around survival, machines, and constant physical action. Some people loved it, some people didn't. And it wasn't just the look of the characters, but it was how they fit into this world. Whether you agree with the criticism or not, the reaction shows something. When gamers feel a design choice is message first instead of world first or fun first, they get upset. Now, I want to be really clear here. It's okay to have messages in games and movies, but you have to entertain first.
What she just said, because people are reacting like that, because when they're seeing it, they're not getting that spark inside. They're not getting that great feeling like, man, this is going to be huge. You see this, it's trending. Everybody's liking it. People are saying positive things because you get a good feeling about it. They tried that, but nobody felt anything. Yeah, I mean, it didn't work.
As an example, I love Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm that person that bought the box set, and yes, I've watched it more than once.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the mix of personalities, values, and approaches because I thought they made the show richer. You had Worf, the Klingon whose solution to almost every problem was, let's kill everyone and get it over with. And right next to him, you had Deanna Troi, the touchy-feely empath whose instinct was, let's save everyone and talk about our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
These two characters were opposites. They clashed and they challenged each other. And that tension was part of what made the show compelling.
Mm-hmm.
But the show never stopped being entertaining. It never stopped being a story people wanted to watch week after week. The mix wasn't the point. It was just there. It was baked into the characters, and it drove conflict and growth naturally.
What she just said, like, I put something in a project in a room. I said, this is a project name that I think is good. And whatever characters came out and the game was fun and really good, it didn't matter. I didn't care about what it looked like, who the character was like. Get out of here with all that crap. It was more like, did you give me a really good video game where you allowed the natural freedom to create whatever you want? And did you put your heart and soul into it and work as a team and also work with the community and give them good feedback and get honest with them? And then all that happens, the game goes out. It's a really good game. Everybody loves it. And you love the cast of characters because the characters are just good. They're not worried about putting something else over the core aspect of what makes a video game really good. And that's the problem that happened too much in this industry lately, and it never turns out well.
Contrast that with something like the recent Star Trek Academy series. It also has a mix of people and perspectives.
Oh,
But instead of simply showing those differences and letting them create drama, humor, or natural tension, it often feels like the show is more interested in lecturing about them or explaining why they matter.
exactly.
And for a lot of longtime fans, that shift makes it feel less like a story and more like a class. So I'm not against characters with different outlooks or values in games and movies.
Me neither.
Game developers should make anything they want. The more creativity, the better.
A good example is Alan Wake 2. Phenomenal. One of the greatest survival horror games of all time.
But if the message feels like the main job, a lecture, you
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to keep making games.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to keep entertaining because nobody will watch or play.
Mm-hmm.
Making fun the core mission has to come first.
Mm-hmm.
And that used to be the explicit North Star for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2006, when the Xbox 360 era was kicking off, the mission was very clear. Internally and externally, it was all about jump in and bring in the fun. The emphasis was on delivering the best, most exciting, most entertaining experiences possible.
Mm-hmm.
The messaging was bold.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to dominate the living room with fun. Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable. The focus was blockbuster entertainment, technical wow, and pure play.
Mm-hmm.
That mission carried the brand for a decade. Fast forward to 2018, and all of that started to change. This is Phil Spencer at the DICE conference describing the new direction, the new culture for Xbox and the industry.
Here we go.
Future of gaming is why getting our culture right is important now. This isn't about culture for collective impact today. This is about investing in culture for global business impact tomorrow. The best part of DICE to me is the spirit of collaboration. It's our moment where we can focus on each other and the topics that really matter to our art form. There are no distractions, just us, just this. Let's figure out how to work together, how we want to lead on this. I'm asking each of you, what world do you want to build? I want to know, what world could we build together if we could expand our team composition? What world could we build if we created a more effective culture for everyone working in it? And what world could we build if we made all gamers feel welcome? For me, regardless of the strategies or the specifics, I know what kind of world we can make. A world that elevates gaming way beyond epic lands and legendary characters. A world that elevates the impact and reach of gaming. A world that changes the way people see and relate to each other as equals.
As you can see, the language changed.
No.
Fun didn't disappear, but safety, inclusivity, collaboration, and global cultural impact became the first priority.
That's too much politics and trying to make things impossible that are not really like that instead of just making a really good video game and everybody just likes it because it's a really good video game. Yeah, I think that there's a hidden hand behind that message. I don't know. Like, I feel like when it comes to making a video game, it's just like if I drew some art or I was painting something, I don't want you to tell me what I need to do. Whatever's inside is just going to naturally come out. And if the whole world likes it, it's because that's just the way that it turned out, right? You have to face the truth like that. But when you're trying to force something and try to say everybody needs to be equal, it's like, no, dude, it doesn't work like that. You watch an anime, there's going to be some characters that are always going to get that spotlight. There's always going to be some protagonist that's going to take over or something epic. You know what I mean? That's just the way that it actually works. Trying to force all that is just lowering the epicness. That's why I said legendary characters. Like, no, dude, that's what people want. You think of Dragon Ball, you think of Goku, you think of Naruto. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about? No, that is just no. And I love Phil Spencer, but I'm like, I've never seen this conversation. And I get what she's saying now. It's like, no, you're going to steer people down the wrong path, and it's going to be devilry instead of a paradise. No, it's no. Now I get it. No.
The foundation had to be everyone feeling welcome and eventually elevating the entire medium.
That's handicap safety.
Before the work, including making great games, could happen. The mission hasn't been thrown away, but the priority ranking has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Fun is still there. It's just no longer the first thing on the PowerPoint slide.
Mm-hmm.
And when the North Star moves, what gets built changes.
Because
with that fun and safety, now you got walking on eggshells. Now you got all this like disorders that spawn from identity disorders, and you have all this stuff that gets in the way of making a game fun, and it just kills everything. Adds 20 times more stress. Adds in politics. It's like nobody asked for any of that. You just want a really good video game. I'm playing Mortal Kombat in the 90s. Nobody talked about that. Every type of character. It's like, yeah, you see what I mean? I'm playing Street Fighter. Whatever type of character you want to pick, they're all there. It's like, you're just making a good video game and people loved it and it was natural. You see? You do not force that type of stuff. That's that makes sense about the vision of Microsoft lately and why that stuff is like that. It's like, see, that doesn't work. You should have stuck to what worked in the 360 era. Everybody loved it. And the whole world and all types of people were playing. You see what I mean? And that's what she's saying. You forgot about that. People said it before, but they haven't said it in contrast like this, where it has to be said at a level of intelligence and sensitivity in the right way, right? With the right amount of passion, where it's like, okay, now I see what you're saying. Where it's like, yeah, the problem is not anything he's talking about. It's the priority change. It's a huge problem. Then all this weird stuff coming in too. It's like, what does this have to do with making a video game? You're just distracting people now. They get these stupid boot camps and pronouns, like all that type of stuff. Like, man, are we going to make a good video game or what? And it's like ridiculous.
Overwatch is not an exploration of what the world is. It's an exploration on what the world could be.
And here's where the language part really starts to matter. The words we choose aren't just polite packaging. They become the lens everyone looks through every day, in every meeting, in every design review. When the dominant vocabulary becomes safety, care, and harm avoidance, that vocabulary starts doing something subtle,
no risk,
but powerful.
No courage.
It changes what feels urgent. It changes what feels dangerous. It changes what feels like success. Marcus Aurelius said it better than anyone. The mind takes the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions. When the words everyone uses and is rewarded for using are about safety, care, and harm avoidance, the mind starts to take the shape of those thoughts. And when that happens, make it as fun as humanly possible stops being the North Star.
Yeah, you basically feminize everything and water it down and make it too sensitive. And oh my God, my feelings, and you can't say this. You can't. It's like we're sitting here to this masculine. You're trying to create something here. You see what I mean? And it's like you need to be strong. You need to be a strong leadership. You need to take these risks. You need to be bold and courageous. Like that's what gaming development always was about. And then spending millions and millions of dollars doing it, that's courageous. All this safety stuff, that's just dumbing things down. Nobody wants that. I want a great video game with the most epic aspects as much as possible. I want the best people in every position. Give me something here. I'm here to be the best. I'm here to pull you on the edge of your seats and entertain you. You're going to say, yeah, I like him. This is great. You see what I mean? Not sitting here with this watered down nonsense, this trash art, these ugly characters, these mediocre formulas and repetitive, imitated, bundled garbage. It's like, nobody wants that. That's why nobody buying those games. Everybody going back to older games, you see what I mean? It's not working. Everybody knows this and they all fail. So it's like, get out of this. High Guard, another example. Concord, another example. You see what I mean? It's like, how many times have you seen that already? Stop. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. And that's another example.
Disappear. Nobody says we don't care about fun anymore, but it becomes conditional. Fun becomes something you're allowed to have after you've made sure the content is safe and unlikely to be misinterpreted.
Yeah, no thanks.
So you can end up in a place where a risky joke gets softened because it might be problematic, or a character design gets cut or adjusted, not because it doesn't fit the gameplay fantasy, but because it might be seen as offensive. Or a mechanic gets cut or toned down because someone might feel excluded or triggered.
Like I said, that's feminism.
Not because anyone is trying to ruin the game.
Yeah.
But because the operating system now ranks avoid potential harm higher than maximize joy, surprise, and replay value.
Yes.
And Phil was right about culture. The culture you build for your team is critical. At DICE in 2018, he wasn't just talking to Microsoft. He was standing in front of the entire industry, the developers, the publishers, the people who sign the checks, and saying, follow this lead. Build for global impact first. Make that the focus. And I think he did get that impact. 8 years later, we're watching the industry crash, studios fold, and layoffs are hitting harder than anyone expected. That's not coincidence. That's the result of many leaders buying the vision. But here's the rub, the brutal irony. If you truly believed in Phil's vision, if you believed gaming could unify, elevate, change how people relate as equals, then fun still had to be the point. Because without it, nobody plays. And if nobody plays, nobody hears you. Nobody gets moved, nobody adapts, nobody lives in the better world you were trying to create. You can have the noblest message in the world, but if the game isn't fun first, that message lands on an empty room. That's my take.
Baby Steps is nominated for Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game.
That's right, it is so good, we all know it clearly. The game is about an awkward man who's so anxious and disorganized that he can't even accomplish the most simple tasks. This is true. It's the first video game to simulate being an Xbox executive.
Damn. Okay, so you see what she just said though, and I respect her courage and her integrity here because she's being honest, and she's like, because I care about Xbox, I'm gonna be honest here. But any male or man that's been in the industry, in the professional industry for this long, and that means any male in this type of industry or man should be able to accept honest criticism like this, to want to improve and realize where you made mistakes. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And led people on with that and seeing the results of it. It was not good. So, this is not to beat down Microsoft or Xbox or anything, and not even Phil Spencer himself. Phil Spencer's an intelligent guy, but it's more like, remember that message that you push, because it's very important, because it's going to go a long way. And there's a lot of people that are following that. We need to get back on the right path, and there's always room for improvement. You see? So let me know what you guys think about this, because this literally does reflect the history of Microsoft. Bad decisions, bad messaging, fantasy bubbles that are out of touch with reality, leading down the wrong path that does not work. Then you got some people saying people are following Microsoft, said no, they're not, because they're not on the path of destruction. If they did, they fixed themselves. Like Sony had a mistake at the beginning of last year, and when the PS5 Pro launched with those cancels, but guess what? They fixed it. Nintendo may have had a mistake with the Wii U, but guess what? Look at how they turn around. You see what I mean? They get the message. They understand gamers. That is a problem in the Microsoft and Xbox world lately, is that they just are out of touch with reality, and they were in their own bubbles, and they were trying to push this certain type of mindset and put that as a priority, and it ended up destroying everything. Just like Ubisoft, they destroyed themselves. Guard team destroyed themselves. You see what I mean? It destroys you completely. So like, if you see that type of self-destruction, then you immediately need to adapt. And somebody that cares will come and tell you that. Laura cares. If not, that she would sit there and agree with that. Why would you agree with somebody's self-destruction? No, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? The industry, you want the industry to do better. And this is what we all want here. So I don't care what no characters are like. If the game is good and fun, that's what matters. Peace out, y'all. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below as usual. Later.